Hello there, it's the 22nd of June 2012. You're joining us live and direct from our News First studios in Colombo. I'm Sonali Wanigabadage.
And I'm Nadim Majid. We start off the news bulletin with a look at your headlines. Making headlines tonight, Julam Pite Amare identified as a suspect in the Katuwana double murder. Search and rescue operations continue for 90 illegal migrants in the seas of Australia's Christmas Island. 3 bodies recovered. The state leaders of India and Sri Lanka emphasized that every effort will be made to maintain the long-standing relations between the two nations.
On to the news in detail. Search and rescue operations are still underway for 90 illegal immigrants in the seas of Australia's Christmas Island after the boat they were travelling in capsized yesterday. The Australian Minister of Home Affairs said that 110 persons have been rescued. He also revealed that 3 bodies had been recovered. The boat carrying about 200 asylum seekers capsized about 200 kilometres to the north of Christmas Island yesterday.
Yesterday afternoon.
It has been revealed that Christmas Island was the destination for the 200 asylum seekers on board the ill-fated vessel. Australia's Minister of Home Affairs Jason Clare said that rescue teams had acted immediately upon receiving a distress call from the vessel. The Australian Navy and AMSA, the Australian Maritime Safety Authority, commenced rescue operations by sea and air. 110 persons rescued thus far have been brought to Christmas Island. Clare said that a 13-year-old boy was among those rescued. He added that all of those on board the vessel were males, except for the one child. The Australian Minister of Home Affairs added that 4 ships and 3 aircraft have been deployed to search for more survivors.
We're still in that critical window where more lives could be saved. The advice I have is that the water temperature is 29 degrees, the sea state is sea state 3, and that people can survive out there for up to 36 hours if they have either life jackets or they have debris to hold on to.
Meanwhile, the Australian Home Affairs Minister added that although search operations were carried out for a second vessel said to have been in distress near East Timor, no such vessel was found. He said that search operations for this vessel had been ceased. Meanwhile, Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard, speaking from the Rio Plus 20 summit in Brazil, said that priority would be given to saving lives.
This is a very distressing and tragic incident. We don't know the full details yet, but clearly we have lost a number of lives.
Following reports of the incident, several foreign media reports suggested that Sri Lankan asylum seekers had been aboard the vessel. News First made inquiries from the Sri Lankan High Commissioner to Australia, Admiral Thisara Samarasinghe.
And the reports reaching me from the Australian Maritime Safety Authority that this 110 is not consisting of any Sri Lankan.
The sea route to Australia from Indonesia via Christmas Island is popular among illegal migrants. Nevertheless, in the past 2 years, the treacherous seas have claimed the lives of 270 asylum seekers. Reuters news agency reports that 4,000 people aboard 50 vessels have undertaken this dangerous journey since the beginning of this year.
More than 270 asylum seekers are known to have died.
දෙපැත්තකම වරදක් තිබෙනවා. මේකට රැවටෙන මනුස්සයත්
Both sides are to blame. The people who fall for it are also in the wrong. They know that they are paying an exorbitant amount for the voyage and they know that it is illegal. The traffickers are in the wrong and the people who fall for it willingly or otherwise are also in the wrong.
ඒ සඳහා රැවටීමට හෝ වාජන වෙලා හෝ කැමැත්තෙන් හෝ යන පුද්ගලයාත් වැරදි.
The Controller of Immigration and Immigration added that serious measures have been taken to prevent people from undertaking such dangerous voyages.
එක පැත්තකින් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නාවික හමුදාවත් පොලිසියත් ඒ වගේම අපරාධ පරීක්ෂණ දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව
On the one hand, the Sri Lankan Navy, the police, the CID, the Coast Conservation Unit and the Immigration and Immigration Department are preparing programs. Programs have been prepared. The Navy and the police have arrested large groups of people. Security measures have been undertaken to prevent departures by sea. Also, even in Australia, border security has been stepped up. So either way, chances of realizing the dream of going there are very small.
ලා තිබෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් මේ යන සිහිනය සැබෑ වෙන්න තියෙන්නේ ඉතාමත්ම අඩු සම්භාවිතාවයක්.
And also there is another court decisions. So once these court decisions are finalized, there will be people who have been rejected from Australia, who has put false claims to remain in Australia as asylum seekers, being sent back to Sri Lanka.
In other local news, the state leaders of India and Sri Lanka have emphasized that every effort will be made to maintain the long-standing relations between the two nations. Now, a meeting between President Mahinda Rajapaksa and Indian Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh took place yesterday on the sidelines of the Rio Plus20 summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
According to a communique issued by the President's media unit, the two state leaders focused their attention on the long-standing relations between the two South Asian neighbours. President Mahinda Rajapaksa had emphasised that both countries were keen on maintaining bilateral relations and that issues that arise would be resolved through discussions. The communique noted that the project to construct 50,000 houses in the north and east with the assistance of the Indian government was also discussed. Meanwhile, India's Foreign Secretary Ranjan Mathai spoke to the media about the meeting.
The President also referred to the situation within Sri Lanka and mentioned the continuing discussions on the issue of devolution. But the large focus was on what is being done for the rehabilitation of internally displaced people, and he quoted the figure of about 3,000 who now continue to remain in the camps compared to 300,000 when the war ended. He also noted that the resettlement process was underway and electrification of the northern region, the power minister being present, mentioned was also making very good progress.
Meanwhile, another meeting took place between President Mahinda Rajapaksa and the Nepalese Prime Minister in Rio de Janeiro yesterday. A communique issued by the President's media unit stated that discussions were held on commencing a direct air link between Colombo and Kathmandu and also on cooperating in power generation projects.
Giganagamage Amarasiri alias Julampite Amare, who is a suspect in the shooting that was carried out at a JVP rally in Katun Hambantota recently, was identified at an identification parade held at the Walasmulla Magistrates Court.
Police media spokesperson SP Ajit Rohana confirmed that witnesses identified the suspect at the identification parade. 4 witnesses had been produced and 3 of them had identified the suspect. The preliminary inquiry into the murders was conducted before Walasmulla magistrate Salya Channa Aberatna this afternoon. The lawyer who looked after the interests of the deceased, Lal Kumar Peli, said that 8 individuals had given evidence at the preliminary inquiry. 4 of them had given evidence that Giganage Gamage Amarasiri alias Julampitia Amare had carried out the shooting. Attorney at law Lal Kumar Peli said that court had been requested to order the police to seize the firearm and the motorbikes that the assailants had arrived in and to arrest the other suspects. Taking the submissions into consideration, the judge ordered the suspect to be remanded until the 6th of July.
And up next, we take a look at the newspaper cartoon of the day, which we selected from amongst today's English newspapers.
UNP Anuradhapura district parliamentarian P. Harrison says that farmers in Anuradhapura and Polonnaru districts had not acted against the instructions given by the Mahavali authority. He made this remark in response to views expressed by Minister of Irrigation and Water Resource Management Nimal Siripal de Silva at a media briefing yesterday.
They did not pay heed to our advice of cultivating 40% and cultivated paddy in the entire land. How can the government be held responsible for this? They continue farming even now, hoping they could obtain some concessions if their cultivation get destroyed. The farmers have acted based on the instructions of the Mahavali and Irrigation Department. Though the minister had said that the farmers had acted on their whims and fancies, there is no concrete evidence to prove this claim. Who provided fertilizer to the farmers? Who provided loans to the farmers? Who ensured these farmlands? Everyone had acted based on the rules and regulations and not otherwise. It is very clear that the farmers are facing this plight owing to the inefficiency of the minister and the authorities.
අද ගොවීන් මේ තත්ත්වයට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවා.
This is a plight of paddy fields in the Andarvava resettlement in the Anuradhapura district. Around 166 acres of paddy are nourished by the Kalavava. Farmers in the Andarvava settlement as well as Galnava, Avukana, Tabuttegama, Thalava and Nochagama, who have cultivated according to the instructions given by the Mahaveli authority, are facing several issues owing to the lack of water. The farmlands in the area are destroyed owing to the lack of water. It's nearly 20 days since we received water last. Meanwhile, farmers in the Kalahagala Buava project in Polonnaruwa staged a fast this morning. The farmers who participated in the fast that was held in the Buava Anikat noted that they are not issued adequate water for their paddy fields. They charged that the water is being released from the Angamadila canal of the Parakrama Samudra only every 2.5 days. Mahala is 4 kilometers in length. There are around 262 farmers. We are being supplied water for only 2.5 days, although they said 3 days. There is no rain. We are aware that there is a water crisis. Due to this situation, we cannot issue water as it was done earlier. We can supply water to the Buva project only on 2 days and nothing more than that. The farmers called off their fast in the evening when the authorities assured them that they will be supplied water for an additional hour.
Parking on pavements strictly prohibited in Colombo. The law applies all 24 hours, says the director, Colombo Traffic Police. Parking space must be allocated. People must be made aware. There is no point in just imposing fines. There must be an alternative. 1 year, 4 months and 9 days later. Is the law in effect?